Well, you're right about the attacks being unprecedented because he's getting it from every angle. You know, usually a Republican may get it from most angles, but here he's also getting it from a lot of Republicans because, like you said, and you hit it with your second point, they don't want the fun to end for them. In other words, you know, the money they're making in Congress, the, you know, WWE effect, as I say, where, you know, we're going to pretend we're going to fight on the Senate and House floor, but then we're really all going to sit down and, you know, go to the country club together. And people are sick of that, and they know Mr. Trump would not put up with it because he wouldn't have to. He has his own money. He has his own life. There's no reason for it, and they're worried, so they're pulling out all the stops. As far as Hudson, that's a wonderful point, too. She happens to be black, which really shouldn't have anything to do with it, but unfortunately, this is what we're hit with, and you're right. His life has not shown any of these things to be true that have been levied against him, and you look at all the black support that he has had from high-profile people, you know, whether it be Dr. Carson or athletes that he's worked with like Herschel Walker and Dennis Rodman and so many others. The names are just coming out, and you know, it is unfortunate that this spin has been put on, but you know, people have to speak up to, you know, put an end to it. And, you know, speaking of wonderful black Americans, I understand you and your wife heard Diamond and Silk on this very program. And, boy, are they a lot of fun or what?
Oh, yeah, a lot of, yeah. They caught my attention right away. You know, their delivery is quite unique. You know,
they catch everybody's attention. And I try to drive this point home when they're on here. You know, are they funny? Absolutely. Do they bring it from an entertainment standpoint and a humor? Yes. But if you really listen, their message is great, and they really are, you know, two articulate, intelligent women who really do have a great message. Now, back to your message, Chris, with America. I know, you know, I've heard Billy Joel say this with some songs. I've heard some others that when you get a good one, when you get one that you're inspired and it's just there, whether it be lyrically, musically, or both in this case, you just go and it just flows. I mean, you sit down and there it is. And you know, certainly not putting me up there with you guys, but I know from a writing standpoint, from Breitbart and other things I've done, if something really motivates me, oh, you can bang that out with all the distractions in the world because it's already written in your heart. It's already written in your head. Was that the case with America? Did you just sit down and was this already there and you just had to kind of catch up to make sure you got it all out before any of it went away?
Yeah, the concept was there for a while, but the musical part, the chord progression, and the melody came to me kind of all at once, you know. And I just got up from where I was sitting down, went over to the piano, and just started playing it. And, you know, the melody came to me in parts. And, you know, I knew what I wanted to say in the song. I wanted it to be a song of unity. Because basically this country seems to be dividing, and I just don't like what I'm seeing, you know. And I think we have to remember we're one country, you know. We're one, you know, e pluribus unum. That's what we're supposed to be. And that's when we're the strongest. And I think if the divide continues, it could be, you know, really, really bad for everyone. So I think I wrote the song to remind people of the good things about this country and how we have common interests, you know, as the last verse says, you know, we all love our children, you know, and, you know, some of them have fought for the country and, you know, on both sides. So whatever issue you're on, what side of the issue you're on, it doesn't matter. We're all Americans, and we all have to remember that when, you know, we have differences. We're not going to agree on everything, but we have to remember we're all Americans. And that's why I wrote the song, because I think somebody needed to say it, you know, because every time I turn on the TV, you know, I either get one side of the position or I get the other, you know. And I never hear anyone talking about, well, listen, we have more in common than we have differences. And that's what the song is about.
Well, and it's interesting because the word I used is uplifting, and I've used the same word about the Trump campaign, and people will try to paint it just the other way, and I really do believe Donald Trump has talked about many of these themes in your song. He has talked about getting together, not only as a Republican Party, not only as Democrats and independents jumping on board, but the things that we need to do to unite as Americans. And, you know, I love in your song what you talk about. No matter if we disagree, we want to live in peace. I don't know many people who wouldn't agree with that. We want our children to have a great life. I can't imagine anyone not agreeing with you on that. And I think that has been out there, from the Trump campaign as well. Again, it's called America. It is by Chris Jasper, formerly of the Isley Brothers. It is a tribute to this exceptional country of ours and really a plea to everyone, our citizens, to unite as one. And America will be coming out on a new Jasper CD. It's called Share With Me, and that's due out this summer. And right now, though, Chris, they could get a hold of the single, right?
Yeah, they can get a hold of the single, Share With Me. That's released now, at iTunes and CD Baby and Amazon. And also, they can pick up America, too, because we released it, as a special release, before the album comes out, because I just wanted to get that message out, and I knew it was going to be on the album, so I just wanted to get that message out because I think people need to hear, that we are all Americans. And all the bickering and all the things that are going on, you really need to kind of tone it down, really, because we're all in the same boat, So that's what America is about, reminding us, that we're all Americans and we need to be together.
And Chris, are you out on tour? What are you doing otherwise right now? I'm
not touring yet because first of all, I'm finishing this album, and I'm also working on a score with my son that he wrote a script for a movie, and we're working on the score too. So I'm kind of working on those two things before I start touring. I want to finish those two projects.
I guess it's pretty good to have Chris Jasper in your back pocket if you're working on a score for a movie, huh?
It's beautiful. I'd have to say I have to give a little plug. It's a really fantastic score that we're doing, and I hope to have more word on that, in maybe a few months or maybe 6 months or so, because we want to get this film into production and everything. So more on that in the future.
That's great. Well, the talent runs in the family, obviously, and it's hard to pick one, but one of my favorite parts of America is when you say together we can succeed, rejoicing in victory. And I think what you mean by that is victory in all of us staying together, all of us understanding that we are all Americans and that this country is indeed exceptional. And I think that we do know who the best candidate for president is right now to hopefully help unite, not divide. And we are certainly stronger united. And it's a pleasure to talk to you, Chris Jasper. We'd love to have you here again. Really a true music legend, formerly of the Isley Brothers, and now with this wonderful new CD coming out, Share With Me, and the great single America. Chris, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, Kevin.
For more on Chris Jasper, please visit chrisjasper.com. This past week, Sarah Palin responded in resounding fashion after a female rapper made disgusting comments about the governor on social media. Azealia Banks called for Palin to be sexually assaulted. This after Banks read something off of a parody site, believing Palin actually made racist statements. Palin then responded to the misguided bully, writing, "Hey, female rapper, listen up, little darling. No one has any idea what you're wigging out about in these bizarre, violent rants against me, but you're obviously not exercising enough intelligence to acknowledge you've been sucked into believing some fake interview in which I supposedly offered comments representing the antithesis of my truth. In this life, you're blessed to have been given an influential platform. So have I. Why don't we strengthen both our platforms and work together on something worthwhile, like condemning racism, along with empowering young women to defend themselves against a most misogynist, degrading, devastating assault perpetrated by evil men, rape. Thanks. And now I'll go through my young daughter's playlist to make sure there hasn't been any inadvertent addition of any anti-woman, pro-rape garbage that you seem to endorse, which perpetuates the cultural challenges we face in America. I encourage other parents to do the same. God bless you, Miss Banks, as you consider a change of heart. Sarah Palin." And a great piece by Ann Coulter was highlighted by Governor Palin this past week. It examines how Ted Cruz wins caucuses but rarely primary elections. Those almost always go to Donald Trump. It's a must-read. You can find the link right on the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter @SarahPalinUSA, and check out SarahPac.com.